Well, hello there. We are on Nuri's account today. They are AR39. I wanted to do an account fixing video on. Here, I'm gonna bring the UI back. I love this no UI feature, by the way. Like, I love it. Anyway, well, I'm distracted. So yeah, Nuri is AR39, almost AR40, and I wanted to make a video on their account, mostly because like I have people that are sending me account fixing submissions that are around this like AR35ish level, and I think. Like 5-star artifacts start to be unlocked at AR40, but then they're only guaranteed drops at AR45, right, with the highest difficulty in domains. So AR35 is this point where like you've played the game for a little while, but not necessarily that long. You can start to be overwhelmed with all the like choices you have to start to make and like what characters to build and whatever. So I'm not sure that's gonna go. I don't know anything about Nuri's account other than just they told me like what characters they liked and they had. I don't know if they have any other 5 stars other than Siegewin. I do think Siegewin is actually a pretty good character to get early on in an account because she has value in the long term. It's just generic supportive utility buffer in some form. I have no idea if we have Farina. Looks like no. Siegewin is much stronger with Farina, but that's fine. And it does seem to be that she is the only 5-star. Traveler does not count. Sorry, although no Dendro Traveler enabled. Animo Traveler isn't bad by any means, to be clear. I should probably make a video on them at some point, but they are, generally speaking, particularly if you are, you have an account in a state where you don't have many Dendro supports, like, Nahid or whatever. Dendro's Traveler is a very important character that you can do a lot of different things with. I don't know if we're gonna... Oh, you have a fast sword. That's actually really, really good. I don't know if we're gonna be building Dendro Traveler in this video, to be clear, because, there's limitations to what we can do at AR30. The things I'm gonna be focusing on in this video are things I mostly want to, like, hopefully be generalized things. So if you have an account that's at this, AR30-ish range, a lot of the things I'm saying here can apply to you, because it's things like, trying to... on units like Xiangling, she can potentially be usable. I figured no C4 Xiangling. I don't think Xiangling is super worth investing into early game, to be clear, but it isn't impossible to make her feel useful still. Anyways, we're going to look at basic things like if weapons were leveled up, right, and whatnot like that. And in Xiangling's case, we would really prefer an ER weapon, most likely. I have no idea. What's your Archon quest like? Have you gotten to Inazuma? You have unlocked Inazuma. Sweet, but not... Oh man, it's been I love it. I love seeing an account that is this new, right? Like, good lord, there's so much content in this game for Nuri to play. It's actually ridiculous. Also, I just noticed they must have stopped playing at some point because they have the reunion reward, a billet box. So that's actually amazing. I don't think I'm gonna use that billet box for them, but it's really nice to have. They got a bow billet, 2 polearm billets, and a claymore billet. Alright, overall weapon situation looks like we got some event weapons. We got a Fab Codex. Fab Sword is really good. Looks like they've probably... Okay, so, well, don't underestimate the value of 3-star weapons. The simple thing is, like I'm assuming they've gotten some number of, more copies of Slingshot and Thrilling Tales, right? But you should definitely have at least 1 copy of R5 Thrilling Tales. It's a very easy, accessible way, including early game, to get free damage stats on your character, right? Yeah, so this Lynette has 1300 attack. And if we pair her with, we'll just do like Barbara, right? Barbara is the simple answer. Oh, Barbara was on R4 Thrilling Tales. Well, okay, that's good. You do have some. I was blind. Refine that to max, so we can get a 48 attack percent buff. So, Thrilling Tales is just one of these simple, accessible buffs in the game that, give you a bunch of free stats. You of course need to think about how you're using it, because if you switch the wrong character, you might buff the wrong unit that isn't going to take value from it. So we're just going to do Barbara's skill here, and we switch to Lynette, and we can see we're doing 900, 1000, 2000 damage there. Very nice, right? We'll let the buff run out here and then see what we get for damage without the buff. This Lynette actually has a decent amount of crit rate. We will go through the character builds and see if there's things we can improve. Alright, so without buff here, you can see 1200, 2000, right? Right, 670. The 48% attack made a difference. And the point with that is more just there is actually a lot of weapons in the game that can be more usable than you expect. I made a Sethos video recently where I had a very good Sethos build using an R5 slingshot at level 90. But anyways, as far as Xiangling goes, it's gonna be a bit hard to make Xiangling work without getting the catch. I'm gonna guess they don't have many fishes fished. We might not have fishing unlocked. Hello? Yep, you don't have... She doesn't have any dialogue options for the store. Okay. Yeah, so Nuri, for the future, if you want Xiangling to be more usable, you might want to do some fishing. You can look up a guide for the weapon called the Catch. Xiangling's main issue, of course, if you want her to feel viable, is you want to be able to get enough energy on her to burst consistently, because her burst is what makes her feel good. But early game, when it's a struggle to get energy, it's, you know, she's a bit more... Yeah, level 16 HP sands on instructors. Okay, unironically, instructors is one of the really strong early game. It's such a strong artifact set that it's relevant late game, actually. So good artifact. Probably wasn't worth leveling to 16 right now, but 4-piece instructors, right, can give a bunch of EM to the team and the equipper. And it's one of those things that, like, a way you can make Xiangling deal damage, for example, without having to build a bunch of ER on her is with something like an instructor's build. A goblet? Yeah, we do. A defense goblet. How exciting. Alright, so 4-piece instructors. It'll give her a whole bunch of EM, and she actually has Dragon's Bane right now, which is giving her a bunch of EM too. So she has 347 EM. One reaction that I think people undervalue, particularly early game, is how compelling overload damage can be. So plop down Fischl there, do some electro, and then watch the overload damage. Right? We get 2,988, 4,000 overload damage, right? Like, and the game, when it's calculating overload damage, is just using your character's level and then their EM, because it's called a transformative reaction. The important thing is just to remember they do their own instance of damage that scales on your character EM, right? So Guoba, with, you know, his, what is it, the cooldown, 12-second cooldown, he stays on field for not the full 12 seconds, and Guoba, you know, doesn't move around, so if enemies move, Guoba can stop hitting enemies. It's part of why Xiangling's energy needs can be pretty rough when you're not using her with Bennett, especially, but you know, this is a way to make her feel good for overworld. It's a way to, like, get some consistent damage output just by doing something as simple as, like, yeah, putting an EM weapon on her and then putting 4-piece instructors to give her a bunch of EM. So nice 3,000. All right, 2,500, 2,500. I think Fischl was proccing. Okay, yeah, the pyro actually ended up taking over the electro there. So Fischl's EM was actually being used to trigger some of the overloads, but again, that's one of the benefits of the instructor set, right? Because instructors gives EM not just to her, but it also gives an EM to Fischl. So Fischl, right, she has 212 EM and at level 60, so she was doing less overload damage, but still a significant amount of overload damage. We can easily do something like bring even more transformative reactions into this team by using Dendro Traveler. We are certainly not going to be able to burst consistently on Traveler here, but this will be better than nothing. This is something if Nuri plays for any amount of time, they will definitely want to level 5 eventually in the future, so this is more than worth. And Traveler has 159 ER and a little bit of crit rate, and that crit rate is mostly just thanks to 2-piece Berserkers and then a little bit of crit from some other stuff. Like, we should actually see occasional Fab procs, right? And so let's watch this engine go, right? I'm not going to use Xiangling, and blam, and we'll just let things happen, right? And they're dead. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the fastest Nuri has ever seen enemies die, right? And literally all I did was just equip their characters a little bit differently from what they had going before. So yeah, honestly, I think the lesson of this video is kind of already, you know, don't undervalue EM and ER, especially early game. Just being able to use your abilities more and rely on the way that the game calculates damage for the reaction system versus just being like, I need crit early game is, generally speaking, the better way to go. And watch things die. And overload, in case anyone wasn't aware, is AoE damage. So, yep. Is that not compelling? I feel like that's compelling for an early game strategy. Nuri did tell me they were working on trying to like clear Spiral Abyss floor 5 and 6, although I believe that is when multiple teams are needed. And needing multiple teams makes yep, you need multiple teams starting at floor 5. That's what I thought. I do think, you know, Dendro Traveler, Fischl, and like doing this like we did in Overworld may be a compelling way to deal with one side of this. We could do a similar thing with Lisa and Bennett, right? Lisa on an overload build, you switch to Bennett, presses E with his low cooldown, switch to Lisa. Yeah, the most common mistakes by far that I've seen from earlier game players is like not realizing how important the level up of the weapon is, how important just getting like the base attack from leveling, you know, your artifacts a little bit. They did make mistakes of like, you know, leveling up this piece is not really relevant if it's not for an HP scaler, right? Looks like Sijuin actually, yeah, Sijuin has pretty good build going for just a, you know, early game healing build. I also passed by him. This dude should have a bow for us. Thank you, sir. So this is one of Sijuin's best bows, even late game. She just kind of wants a lot of HP, and this bow gives a bunch of HP. Yeah, overall, this account is definitely just in a state where there's not much I can do unless I logged in like on potentially for like a week or two, right? Which is not usually. Oh my god. Is not usually the goal of this series that I'm trying to make. I am usually just trying to like provide different paths and options for players to learn things that they might not have been aware of before, right? For any 3-star weapons that you get from wishing or exploration, for simplicity, just lock any of them so you have like an R5 copy of every 3-star weapon in the game. Some of them are definitely ones you can just trash, but you end up getting so many of them over time. I imagine someone has made a video about, you know, the most relevant 3-star weapons in the game. If you want any creators that I think have made like really good like guides for early AR, I believe Sevi has a video that goes over a lot of tips for anyone in this AR level. Oh, they have Sucrose. Sucrose is really, really good to have. Sucrose is another character where even early game you can just put a bunch of EM on her and she'll go hard. I just realized they probably used the Catalyst build that they got for free in the guidebook for Mappa Mare. I forgot what it was called, but there's definitely a 3-star weapon I think you get from Wishing that has EM substats. So Mappa Mare is not very good. Unfortunately, that was kind of a waste of a billet. In my opinion, the best craftable weapon in the game is Prototype Amber, which is, you know, the other craftable Catalyst. It can turn any Catalyst user in your team into a team-wide healer, even if they themselves don't normally heal. And I want to mention that mostly in the context of, like, I wouldn't be too gung-ho about using this Northlander billet trove. Since this gives you a choice of any of them that you need it, I would wait until you, like, know that you need it. I really wish Mohoya wasn't so stingy with billets. Let's see how this team does. Hello, Wolfie. It's been a long time since I fought Andreas. Alright, let's do you. Ow. And burst of Sijuin. Where'd you go, sir? Hello. Oh, can you stop moving? You butthole. Oh no. So scary. Because it wasn't obvious from the footage that showed there, enemies that move around a lot, like this butthole, this team could feel a little bit more inconsistent as far as its damage output. But it's not really the end of the world. We can just kind of constantly switch between things, use our different abilities, and we should get some stuff going on, right? And let's wipe them down with this. Rip. Easy. Claim this at least. I'm assuming that the reason Nuri didn't do that was probably because they were struggling with it before, right? So that was not difficult at all for me, because we had meaningful ways of just dealing damage as long as we were just using the character's abilities and they were hitting. Of course, this unlocks at rank 40. Ugh. Of course, by the way, Nuria, it's probably worth trying to do the next ascension for your characters, because not that all of them are relevant, but you get the last ascension passive when you do characters level 60 ascension. Notably for Fischl, this will make Fischl a lot stronger. In fact, I think we're going to do that. Fischl's Ascension 4 passive is, for anyone not aware, what makes Fischl an incredibly strong character. She gets extra electro damage that applies electro itself, and therefore can trigger another reaction, right? Can get more overload damage in, or just more talent-based damage in at high investment levels, right? With your crits, and it's very very strong. Without it, Fischl's a relatively underwhelming character. These are overloads here on this. Yeah, I love overload early game. It's just nice, convenient AoE damage. Just do pyro and electro and you get damage. I don't know. And this guy provides the electro force. How convenient. Kill him. Get him. There we go. You can put the dendro thingy on top. That's really funny. That's really, really funny to me. Okay, I probably should have brought Kale in the team to be able to deal with these things. Success. Not too bad. Can we get 2 drops? Yeah, we can. Nice. These transformer reactions scale up in damage pretty significantly. Like, the same amount of EM on this Xiangli at level 60 will scale with her level as far as the overload damage goes to, you know, doing 10,000 damage in overloads. Like you just level your characters and have the same equipment on them, and they'll still do increased damage. Like, transformer reactions are the most significant scaling you see from characters just being leveled up and not doing much else in this game, compared to, you know, there are other forms of damage, like, you know, her multiplier-based damage here requires, like, building her for ER, building her for crit to see meaningful damage from the Pyronado.
I, Fischl, am the Princess
Thank you, Fischl. We got enough resources for Fischl's most important ascension, and arguably one of the most important ascensions in the entire game for any character. Like, this character's bonkers. And Fischl now has 172 EM before an E-buff from instructors. Nice. Let's go... Really? This is where the hilly trails... Ugh. Blam. Blam. Really? I do not like when enemies don't drop drops. Oh my god, they're so angry. What? Wait, they're inside? What? They hit me through the wall? I'd call hacks. Oh god, what mess is this? Oh dear. Well, let's see how this goes. Alright, do you. Let's do this. Let's get frozen. Woba. Alright, this. You know, I remember that being really annoying, like dying to it when I played this early game. And, I don't know, honestly, I think that shows the strength of doing these things. Like, that was not a challenge. Really? Oh my god, you dude! There's a sniper! I swear, if this dude doesn't drop anything. No, rude. Alright. Slam, get some nice electrocharge damage, die. Yeah, he drops something, good. It's definitely a lot more annoying doing these. It's definitely... Hello? Oh, he just got pushed off. Yeah, it's much more annoying doing this farming early game, I would say. Like, it just dropped nothing. Like, what? I just killed 3 of them and got 0 drops. I need, like, I need 18 of these. So I'm going to go. Bam. And look at that damage to the shield. Easy. This is just elemental mastery in early game, the video. Okie dokie, we're almost done farming here. I actually lost some footage because the stupid computer issues, we'll just say. I think I lost some footage talking about how I think it's kind of unfortunate how like easy the solution for this is, right? This account, in order to get teams to feel pretty competent. Right, it's just having basic knowledge on the reactions in the game, and like the only thing miHoYo has as a structure to teach people about reactions early game is this one domain. Where is it? Is it this one, I think? Yeah, it's this one, and like no surprise, Nori just hasn't done anything, right? Like miHoYo really needs to do a better job, and I don't even think these are very good tutorials. They teach you that the reactions exist, but not how to actually utilize them, such as doing things like just looking at the pieces that give EM and wow, EM go. Not to mention unintuitive things that matter, like when characters are dealing like pyro damage, like Xiangling, is every hit the character is doing pyro damage. In Xiangling's case, it is. Every time she does hit, she does pyro, which means she can trigger a reaction. That's a big difference because that can affect how much damage you get out of them, and that matters a lot when, you know, if you don't trigger it, because if you don't apply an element, you don't actually trigger a reaction, you can't trigger the overload, get damage out of it, right? So these things are all very unintuitive game systems. They're things that make Genshin's combat very interesting. I do genuinely believe Genshin has a fairly innovative set of game mechanics with this reaction system. It's just, anyone just playing the game to start will not immediately catch on to it. Like, new players have to look up outside resources, right? I think it's just unfortunate that the issues many players face in this game are lack of knowledge due to miHoYo not implementing anything to help. It's kind of weird that there's so much demand for me to make these kinds of account fixing videos. I genuinely feel like if Genshin was better at teaching its mechanics to players, a lot of people would like the combat of this game more. In my instance, I don't think I actually properly started understanding the baseline of Genshin's reaction system until at least 6 months after I started playing the game. If I hadn't started making videos about Genshin, I don't know if my knowledge on the game would ever have gotten to a point where I could even realize to make recommendations as simple as, yeah, put some EM on your Fischl and Chongling early game and you'll be fine. Hopefully people are fine with the fact that fixing in this video is relatively simple, but that's kind of what I think it is going to be most of the time for early AR accounts. I don't think you really should get too focused on like, I need to get to AR45 as fast as possible, get all the crit, like you'll lose your mind if your entire focus on this game is just farming for the rarest things in the game, right? Instead of taking a perspective of looking at the different stats that are relevant in conjunction with the different mechanics the game has. So I don't know. The lesson of the video is don't undervalue EM, don't undervalue energy recharge. Oh my god, so few drops that I need. Oh no, the guidebook has no more. Oh boy. Please let that be enough. Yes, that's enough. I think it literally took me around 30 minutes to get 18 of these. And now I get to go get these. Alrighty, and with these couple here, we should have enough to finally ascend her. This has taken much longer than I expected, but it's fine. Blam. Official A4 done. So I'm gonna wait a day. We're gonna log in tomorrow, and then we'll see what we can do with Abyss floor 5 and 6. I'll be back in a day. And it's day 2. Nuri was, oh yeah, they're AR40, halfway through AR40 now. I forgot how quickly you can progress. And they used some resin, very nice. They also seem to have leveled up Dendro Traveler, which is not pointless. It is worth doing that. Why? Nuri. We caught another fab. Holy. That's okay, that's new. That's actually like an enormous dub for the account, but also yoink. Oh, in case it wasn't obvious why, we don't really care about prototype Rancor on Dendro Traveler, right? Like, yeah, I know it seems like, oh, physical damage is good when you're doing some physical damage, when you're not doing your other things, but in this team, it's very much going to be just switch between different characters to be using their skills again, rather than bothering doing physical damage. It's not worth doing a physical damage weapon, right? Bam. Oh, I think this thing's more tanky now. We're level 4 now. Oh yeah, Nuri, I'm giving Bennett this Fab Sword because it's the easiest method to just getting him to be good. Also, we should lock Harbinger of Dawn for you. Don't know if you had one before, but it's locked now. Alright, we're certainly not going to be bursting consistently on Bennett or anything, but it's not that big of a deal right now. Just do not refine these fabs. It's very likely that in the future, short term and long term, you'll want at least 2 Fab Swords, if not potentially more. Chamber 1 is a Pyro Abyss Mage, so we'll want Barbara probably over there. And then Chongling should be able to deal with the Cryo Slimes. Oh my, there's more enemies here than I expected. Do that, and we'll do Chongling Burst, rip through their things. That, and this is what I was talking about, where we just want to be able to switch between different abilities. We don't really want to, be doing that much physical damage, right? We're not triggering the normal reactions we ideally trigger here because the enemies are always affected by cryo, but it's mostly fine. It would be nice, especially for this chamber, to have more energy on Chongling. Ow, 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 ow. But it's not the end of the world, and we can just try to keep Chongling on field to make sure she catches some of the global particles here. And there we go. Done. And this team is the definitely more questionable team. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's go over here and look this way to group them. Yep, there we go. Okay. And we'll do this. We'll do some Barber Charge Attack. Oh, I failed. Barber Charge Attacks are some AoE Hydro, and then stand it under the ring. There we go. Bam. Oh yeah, only a 13 damage overload there. Yeah, at least it would ideally, really have more than that, but hey, 3 stars. If we had leveled Lisa to 60, right, we should start seeing the 3,000 to 4,000 damage and overloads that this team is getting, right? Really wish we didn't have things that were just constantly affected by cryo here. It's actually effing with my entire plan. Nonetheless, I think we should still be fine. Yeah, you're dead. Alrighty, so let's see here. It's 4k damage from her. Maybe I should have waited until I had Bennett buff, but honestly, I don't know if it matters that much. The Sucrose would have absolutely trivialized this chamber, now that I think about it. Still cleared without a problem, though. Oh, you're a butthole. And shuffling it up, and things should die. There we go. Oh, that was much easier than I thought. I didn't realize there was only 3 enemies. Okay, I think... There we go, there we go. And we'll just overload these things to death. The explosions happening here are really annoying. And put some pyro on them, do some Lisa, right? And that's basically what we're doing here. And Lynette him. Yeah. Easy peasy. No problem. Okay, and the following chambers even more make me feel like, oh god. Yeah, Sucrose. You see this? You see this many enemies? You know, Sucrose or Kazuha. But Kazuha's a 5-star, right? She's level 1 now, so I don't really want to bring her here. Bro, can you chill with your friggin' windy baloney? Yeah, it's man, frickin' so many buttholes. Okay, so like we can really abuse the fact that they're spawning all these things with Sucrose and whatever. Well, claim these rewards at least. You know, screw it. I think it's the correct decision to go and level up Sucrose for this account. Magica gives more EM than Mappamare, and the main thing we care about is just leveling up Sucrose for swirl damage, because swirl is a transform reaction. It just cares about her EM and then her base level for calculating the damage. Swirl, of course, puts the element on other characters too, and Sucrose can do EM buffing of her own, so she's a very strong character. I put Sucrose on 4-piece EM. Why do you have... I just noticed, why don't... What? Nuri might have been like farming Navia's artifacts for prep for Navia, but I wouldn't worry about that right now. Just focus on leveling your existing characters that can be usable. This is something that happens right as a result of people look up what, you know, Navia's best build is, and then her best artifacts are these, and then they go and farm that artifact set, even though it wasn't worth it to farm that. Oh, I think Nuri equipped Dendro Traveler with like some pieces that were on Lynette. That explains why Lynette felt like she was doing a lot less. Why is there no flower? Oh, frick me. There's no flowers here because Nuri went and picked the flowers to level up Dendro Traveler. So, oh, frick, I might not be able to level up their Sucrose. Oh, man. Oh, good, there's some over here. Okay. Like if Sucrose, I want to emphasize, if Sucrose was level 60 already here, probably would have been able to completely breeze through the abyss. You can really abuse Swirl. Ascend, and we have no more. Oh, frick me. Okay. So this tutorial domain has Sucrose level 20 with a magic guide on her, and we have Xiangling and Kaya paired together. So basically, right, you can have, especially in multiple enemy situations like this, and there's a notable synergy with Guoba too. You can swirl Pyro and, you know, different elements around. If Fischl is here, right, we could swirl Electro around and trigger Electro reactions, which would trigger Fischl more, right? Like this ability to go and spam swirl elements around and do damage to them all at once. And also she has a bunch of grouping utility, right? Like you're not gonna be able to constantly do this grouping, but like she's a a really strong character. And we can just do that. We can do this, and we don't even have our skill up, right? But we can just do normal attacks and do a ton of swirls, and yeah, right. If you do something like swirl your Pyro from Guoba onto enemies, right, while Fischl is going, you can trigger a bunch of overloads with Sucrose's EM herself. And yeah, she's a really simple character. You just put EM on her. You have Hydro, Electro, Cryo on enemies, and you swirl them around and trigger a bunch of reactions, and you'll see damage. Anyhow, I'm going to try to get Sucrose, I think, at least to level 50 here, so, because I think level 50 Sucrose will start to properly show some of this stuff. These, oh, frick me. Oh, there's double rewards right now because of the returning thing. That's very nice. I don't think I'll have to use their fragile resin then, but we'll see. 4 instances of double drops. Yeah, Nuri, I think you have 8 days left on this. Do this every single day. Do the 4 double drops of the ley lines. Getting some more resources built up, and also potentially your XP book resources. I'm going to utilize these today to be able to level your Sucrose a little bit. Alright, well, I'm just going to use one of their fragile resins. I think Nuri has been using a bunch of their fragile resins anyways. I do recommend probably saving anything you have remaining for potentially AR45 artifact farming, or, you know, if you want to use them, just level up characters sooner you can, but ultimately, you know, resin is resin, so it's not like it's a horrible loss. It's still gonna do something for you. Do not spend it in obvious domain, though, please. That is not worthwhile. And level to 50. Alright. I would love to level Sucrose more, but I don't want to use any more of their resources. See how Sucrose helps us here. I suspect this is going to go a little bit better. Let's do that, and group things together a little bit. Do this, and then we can do that. Look at that. We're getting like 500 swirl damage, by the way, which is not that much, but notably swirl, when you're doing non-hydro swirls, does AoE damage. So you saw I swirled off of him and got 519 damage on both of them. Really? You blew up my thing. You butthole. Try to avoid putting pyro on your Dendro Traveler's burst, or it goes boom. Alright. Almost done here. Please die. There we go. It was a slog, but I think we cleared with over a minute to spare, though. 26 enemies? Oh boy, it's just getting worse. Ugh. I think for here, the main strategy is honestly just deal with the freaking archers, because they're the buttholes here. Alright. And also the healers. Just need to... And throw a Sucrose in here. And really wanted to swirl Pyro on that, but oh well. There we go. Siege Wing going strong. And go the butthole over here. Repop official. Let's try to deal with the archers. Siege Wing's burst is actually pretty important for us here, so I'm making sure I get some energy on it. Okay, do this. Oh, you butthole. Alright, do this. Alright, good. We got Hydro on it. I don't have to worry about Pyro anymore. And do this. Alright, and we should be good. Oh, well, come on, come on, come on. What, official, really? Okay. There we go. Alright, do this. This. Oh, good lord, you butthole. Alright, let's do that. Nice, get some AoE damage going. I killed this dude before he gets his pillars. There we go. Alright. And a big boy? Hello. Alright, you're gonna run over to me, right? So what we're gonna do is this. Iframe that. And we'll do this. Do this. Do this. Do this. No. You really... Okay. Alright, do that. Do this. Do that. Do this. And apply some pyro that we can swirl around. And should be good. You know, I really wish I had watched what these sides were on the Abyss, because bringing the Overload team to the Pyro Slams was not the greatest idea. Official can still help a little bit, but you're mostly just relying on Siege Wing and some additional Dendro reaction stuff. So basically, I can do something like this, do this. Hopefully it doesn't die. It probably... Yeah, it did. Oh well, it's fine. And this. Not quite, but... Oh, never mind. It was quite enough. Do this, and do that. And you're probably dead shortly. There we go. And there's chamber 6, or floor 6. Anyways, we were successful, right? That is what Nuri asked me to do, was clear floors 5 and 6. I do want to go start theater quick for them, see what happens there. I'm guessing we're probably only going to be able to do the easy mode on it, like, just because we don't have enough level 60 characters. And if theater is not interesting at all, I don't think I'm going to bother including any footage of it. Well, theater was not interesting at all, because we just used the trial characters, basically. I really don't recommend getting too focused on theater, almost honestly, at any stage in the game, because it's just like a character roster check. But anywho's, I do think we were successful, right? Nuri asked me to, try to help them out, power up their characters just a little bit, and get them through floors 5 and 6 of Abyss. Nuri, for the future, honestly, just kind of level up and play whatever characters you want. Hopefully you learned something from this video. I do not think, accounts at this AR level are ever really in need of fixing, because basically an account that's only at this AR level is so young that it's not young enough to make any major mistakes that require any true fixing, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it's worth getting too hung up on trying to do things optimally, but hopefully this video at least showed that it's worth, like, learning some of the game mechanics, because Bahoyo is terrible at actually teaching you. But genuinely, go into this domain. It's not great, but it at least will, if you read what it says and think about what it does, it teaches you the baseline of what the reactions do. So yeah, this AR level is just a weird one to even, like, conceptualize, fixing an account. It's almost the same as saying, a baby human made mistakes in their life, and how dare you make these mistakes? Like, like no, you have too little knowledge of Genshin because you've just recently started playing Genshin. You haven't had time to even make any meaningful mistakes that need to be fixed. My main hope with this video is just that, anyone around this AR level would just maybe learn that they have more options than they might expect. For being able to deal with the content in the game, right? That's kind of all my goal with these videos is in general. I'm not trying to tell anyone, oh, you need to level a particular character or anything, right? I'm just looking at what there is available and trying to play around with things. That's why I'm pretty resistant to just, using all the fragile resin, is because I'd rather work with what is currently there and make the most of it. I'm rambling though. Let me know how I did. Like, subscribe if you want to see future videos like this one. Have a wonderful day.